or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah, like, so I understand a little bit about the lighting. You know, could you explain a bit about what lighting does to even what? I don't even know how to finish that sentence, but what lighting does, yeah.
Sure. I guess my direct experience with colours and connecting to the sounds of colour, which this has a certain sound and colour to it.
Yeah.
From my shamanic training, I've come into relationship with stepping across the world into the energetic realm.
Okay.
And there's certain ways of seeing in that realm. So as we see with the eyes in the physical material world, we can also see visions and dreamlike mythic things in the energetic realm through journeying. So there is a place where colour comes into things in that realm, in the energetic realm.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's lots of scientific proof. I don't have examples on me, but there's...
Colour's just
checking...
For anyone that has taken a psychedelic drug in their life, I think they're pretty sure that there are colours at some point.
But you're just talking about the...
No, you are, yeah.
The electromagnetic spectrum is just a spectrum of frequencies, and colour is only just a certain part of that, which is visually, like, a perceptible a part of that frequency. Yes. And that's what colour is.
Yes.
Really.
I think we're... As the energy body or the luminous body that we have that's invisible, in the chakra system there's those 7 colours in the major, I would call it, the traditional chakra system.
Yeah.
There's more than 7, but there's the red for the root, orange for the sacral, and yellow for the solar plexus, and green for the heart, and blue for the throat, and indigo or purple, violet for the third eye, and then white for the crown.
Okay.
So our energy body is made up from all those colours.
Okay.
I might be going off on a tangent.
No.
In the Peruvian tradition that I've studied,
we like tangents. That's where we fly.
That's what we're about.
You guys are rule breakers. So in the Peruvian tradition, they talk about developing the jaguar body.
Okay.
So the jaguar they call the rainbow body.
Yeah.
Being that it's invisible, it's clear, which is basically the sum of those 7, or the rainbow.
Right, okay.
So all the colours make up that clarity of light.
Yeah, yeah.
So in the training of shamanism, I came into connection with that archetype and worked in those areas, which is meaning that when I have a jaguar body, which is just all the colours complete and whole, that I'm not reacting to what you say, and I'm triggered from an emotional area. It's like the panther or jaguar doesn't have they have no enemies. If you look at they take on anacondas and all sorts of stuff.
Well, they've got a lot of enemies, but just none that are going to try and attack them.
Or us.
Yeah, us, yeah.
Yeah, we're
sure.
They're the ones that have no fear.
That's right.
So they walk with no fear.
Yeah.
It's non-emotional, but it's unconditional love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you're living through engaging all parts of yourself and all frequencies and all colours. And so because of that, you're very balanced and able to accept and transmit, on such a pure way. But whether if you're just engaging one colour or living through one chakra or like focusing on one frequency, you'll be out of balance and you'll be...
Yeah, so that gets back to the point of like seeing these, the colours.
Sure. Yeah.
So recently I was doing training with Deanne Booth in Alice Springs.
Okay.
And we were working with sound and colour. Yeah. And so I always thought that there was there's certain tones for the bodies to create colour, apparently.
Right.
That's what the identification is out there. So that if I have a certain tone, I can actually play red.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah.
And or I can play orange. What I experienced in Alice Springs with Deanne was a way of healing my own separation to colours that I needed to work with. Mm-hmm. An example was red.
Yep.
I'm a Taurus and a fire dragon.
I'm a Taurus.
And the colour red for me was more fire.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But actually I worked it in a way consciously through sound tools to come into relationship to that it's the earth colour.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
So it's not really answering a question about how to see those colours, but in practicing in the energetic realm there's certain sites and developments that we have with the clearing of our energy body. So once they come into more alignment and more balance and harmony, and things come online consciously, then we can start to see certain things with intention.
Okay.
So I'm sure I don't have any scientific fact that there is tangible colours to sound, but they have measured it.
Well, they have people who can see sound. They do. They have definite life experience, and when they see sound,
do you know what
colour,
I'm thinking?
That's amazing.
Imagine
that
if
is amazing.
Those people who see sound and they're at like a rave or something, and everyone's just
Imagine
dancing,
that.
and then the place is just this, there's just like these,
Oh my
colour
goodness.
bombs just
Imagine
coming
into
off from
psychedelic
everyone.
trance, like infected mushroom or something. If you saw sound,
if you saw sound, no.
that'd be crazy.
Well, here's the thing with psychedelics is that I've learnt to appreciate if I was to do those, which I've done some plant medicine in Peru, that I do it consciously. This is for myself.
Certainly, yeah.
I do it consciously and in ceremony and in a grounded space with a leader that can actually navigate and guide what's arising.
Yes,
Because it can bring up a lot of trauma.
Yeah.
It can bring up a lot of bliss and nirvana states or oneness. But just from my experience, from my upbringing, I've had so many close friends take mushrooms or this and that, and they've just gone on a bender and haven't been able to come back because there was no way. There was no conscious direction of like I'm going there, someone
no real
helped them come back.
appreciation of what they're actually doing and why.
Yeah,
and what their intentions.
it was just for the fun of it.
Yeah.
Or somebody might use it unconsciously and be really depressed and use it to feel better, which is a setup. It's quite a setup to work on the symptoms, not the cause. Yeah,
absolutely.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Well, so then you've had experience with which plant medicines in Peru?
The San Pedro.
San Pedro?
peyote. Yeah.
Because I did ayahuasca a couple of times. You didn't manage to get ayahuasca? No? You weren't interested? Oh, because that's one of the main plants to try in a shaman environment.
Well, it seemed to me that San Pedro was enough for me at that stage.
Yeah.
So
it is one of those things. Yeah.
The active ingredient in San Pedro is mescaline, isn't it?
I think
it's I'm not sure of the active ingredient actually, but it's the it comes from the cactus under the skin.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's mescaline. We actually had some. I got back from South America, and
the pillow. Sure.
And I brought some San Pedro home with me unknowingly.
Unknowingly.
Yeah, it was just from the market in Iquitos. Did you go to Iquitos at all?
No.
Peru? No, it was just in the jungle.
No.
Yeah. I bought it and it was like, I don't think we had enough of it, but I think the active ingredient is mescaline, and basically I started drinking dirt. It's just the powder, we mixed it with water.
Yes.
Dirt. It was mud. It was awful. But yeah.
And then it was gross. Yeah, it just gave us. We didn't have anywhere enough. But I don't know how you possibly could have had any more without vomiting.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was like mud, and it was probably old. I don't know if it's got a use by date or whatever. But
it was just market. It was just crappy market stuff, which mightn't have been the best.
Well, that's the thing that you need to be aware of. That I met some people that are cultivating it. They're making it. They're blessing it and working with it consciously to bring it to the people for healing.
Yeah.
So, like recreational drugs, I would say.
Yeah.
What's the purest? There's pure forms and there's also impure forms.
Yeah,
so
certainly.
you need to really be aware of. Well, I'm very aware that I go to somebody that's actually holding a loving space for that.
That's right.
Cultivation and processing of that material.
And not only that, when you're talking about growing a plant, you're talking about a living creature, taking in energy to sustain itself and grow. And if you have a place where it's, a loving place where the shaman's growing it and putting its the correct energy into it, that's going to make a huge difference to how the plant grows. So I think that's a big, big thing. That's
where the Western culture has really devoured the possible possibilities, the possible positivity of taking
plant
medicines, taking when you say medicine, taking any form of mind-altering drug. Our cultures have really, made it a taboo concept, because I think it has to do with this whole weekend syndrome of work Monday to Friday, hit the weekend, get blasted. I've got these 2 days to have a good time. I'm just going to get off my rocker, smash myself, and then get back to work, and then, do my hard work. And then, I can only really relate it to that in my knowledge base. But drugs, essentially, we've been through this a number of times on this podcast. Drugs, essentially, and especially plant medicines, and when you say healing, what I did want to bring up before, it's not healing like I've got a broken finger or a broken toe or healing. We're talking about soul healing, spiritual healing, from the inside out sort of healing.
Again, not healing so much as what Adam was saying before, but undoing the damage that we've done, because we were already whole and healed. Unwinding. I actually call it. I love calling it unraveling the knots in our brains and mind. I feel like there's knots every now and then, every now and then someone has a bit of a quirkiness about them, and you think, I know exactly where that knot is in there. They just need to unwind it.
Yeah,
that's how I look at it.
I'd like to talk about the paradigm of time.
Yeah, so time. I love time.
Because
Tess is good at time.
That's one of my favourite topics.
Let's talk about time.
I don't know why it
problem
came
for
up,
me.
But the whole awareness thing that we did earlier.
Yeah.
The in the Western cosmology.
Yeah.
It's like there's the future and that's the past.
Yeah.
And here's the present.
Yeah.
It's quite debilitating.
Yeah,
because
it's like
I've
balancing.
got one. Yeah, it's like it's not open.
Yeah,
and
it's mental balancing. Yeah.
It's like grabbing hold of.
Yeah.
Like if you came and pushed me now, I would just fall on my ass.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have a leg to stand on.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So in the Peruvian cosmology, what I learned is time is circular.
Yeah.
It's a cycle.
Yeah.
So past, present, future is possible to tap into any of that at any time.
Definitely, I completely agree.
So
with
it was
just
talking about how talking about society, what you just brought up, and how much fear we have, like in feeling separated. Time is one of the biggest components of that, because it's a creation of
separation.
It doesn't exist.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, it's just amazing. When I came to that conclusion myself, when working with these practices, it was like, wow, I can travel there and do this and do that, and it worked.
Yeah.
And it was like,
I agree. I mean, the way I see it is
step. Yeah.
kind of like this is actually what my tattoo means. But anyway, it's like everything is one. Everything is the same. It's all, there's no such thing as past and future. It's all happened. It's all, or not happened. It's all just is. And it's like almost that when we come into existence, and as human beings, as biological creatures on this planet, it's like someone just presses play, and then we have to go in a linear past future type concession to be able to experience it as a human being, where our brain actually works like that in order to survive as a creature. on this planet. You know, I think that's why we see things in a linear